24-hour news continues from News Center 4 at 5.
Turbulence created moments of terror aboard a San Francisco-bound jumbo jet this afternoon.
American Airlines Flight 1539 ran into trouble just minutes after leaving Miami's airport. Heavy turbulence hit the plane and threw passengers and crew all over the place, injuring a number of them and forcing the plane to return to Miami. We begin our team coverage with reporter David Bloom in Miami, who filed this report just minutes ago.
Most of the passengers whom we spoke with inside the terminal here at Miami International Airport were from the Bay Area. They said they were thrown about when the plane hit turbulence just outside of Miami after takeoff. Fortunately, no one was seriously injured. Paramedics say 30 people from the San Francisco-bound flight suffered injuries. Most complained of head, neck, and back pains. 10 passengers and 5 crew members were hospitalized, including this woman, whose baby was thrown from her grasp.
The baby was in the mother's lap, and the baby had flown up, and it was caught by a gentleman, I'd say, about 3 rows back in the plane, so it was pretty nice. The guy made a good catch.
American Airlines says Flight 1539 was 40 minutes out of Miami when it hit 2 pockets of unexpectedly heavy turbulence at 31,000 feet.
We were climbing, and then suddenly the plane hit an air pocket or something, and it just took a dive. Everybody flew up in the air and started screaming.
Eric Desenberg was among the most seriously injured with a possible broken foot.
My foot flew up and kicked the seat in front of me, and I think I broke my foot. It's not half as bad as the person in front of me hit the ceiling and broke it open, and the lady next to me hit the ceiling and broke her foot and just cracked her head open or something. I got a concussion. I stopped and helped her and, you know, did what I could until I got down here. She was really getting hysterical, you know. Everybody was freaking out. We thought we were going to die.
But the Boeing 767 with 223 people on board made it back safely to Miami. More than one passenger said next time they'd keep their seatbelts fastened tight. Now, most of the original passengers from Flight 1539 are now back bound for San Francisco, hopefully a less turbulent flight. This is David Bloom reporting in Miami. Evan, Emerald, back to you.
That was taped a few minutes ago, and that rescheduled flight, by the way, is due in at 8 o'clock tonight.
The other major story we're watching tonight is that approaching storm, which is expected to bring a lot of rain and snow to Northern California. And it's got a lot of people anxiously eyeing the hills in case the expected heavy rainfall starts mudslides or flooding. News Center 4's KARL SONKIN joins us live from Capitola with details. KARL?
Well, Emerald, it's been raining on and off here in Capitola for all afternoon, and Capitola is a low-lying community on the coast here where they have had troubles with heavy rains before, so officials are taking no chances tonight. Police set out stacks of empty sandbags, encouraging Capitola residents to fill them up at the nearby beach to protect doorways that could fill with water if heavy rains fall in this low-lying town.
I've got a copy of the National Weather Service statement.
At the Santa Cruz Emergency Services Office, officials were working the phones, checking with the Weather Bureau for the latest forecasts and getting heavy equipment ready.
We have one crane set up in the Mid-County area. We have one in the Watsonville area. So if it turns out that we need to deploy cranes somewhere to remove debris out of rivers, we'll have those ready to go. So we're pretty confident that we'll be able to handle things.
All county equipment has been fueled up. Employees are ready at their phones if they're needed tonight. Meanwhile, that slide that closed Highway 1 in Big Sur even before the rain started falling apparently will be cleared by this evening. Southbound traffic on the scenic highway has been detoured at Carmel. There have been no mudslide problems, by the way, in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Officials say they expect about 3 inches of rain in the next 24 hours. It could cause some sliding, but it is not expected to cause any major problems. Back to you now.
All right, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Thanks a lot, KARL.
So, and still another storm. It was during one of the worst parts of last week's winter storm that a young couple disappeared driving from Castro Valley to Idaho. And today, the relatives tried to retrace the couple's steps. News Center 4's Mark Jones for this exclusive update.
At dawn, Muriel Mulligan kissed her husband goodbye. Christmas week, her mother died. Now, her son, his wife, and baby are missing for a week. Army Private James Stolpa, his wife Jennifer, and baby Clayton left the Bay Area last week for a grandmother's funeral in Idaho, an 800-mile drive. They left at dawn, a blizzard on the way. So this morning, Kevin Mulligan and friend Scott Fogarness left at dawn, a blizzard on the way.
My gut feeling tells me they deviated off of the route because they heard that 80 or 50 had been closed, and they looked for some road or some bypass that was open at the time and then closed down because of the snow. They got into deep snow, they got stuck, the snow came, and it got worse and worse and worse.
Relatives and friends are desperate. Police say the family is missing, but there is no evidence of a crime, so there is no massive manhunt. Police say they can't concentrate on 1,000 square miles, so Kevin Mulligan is doing the legwork.
Hi, do you happen to see these people exactly 1 week ago today? No? Can I post it?
Sure.
Where?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
At every stop where there is a gas station or food, Mulligan is pulling over.
They've been missing a week. Exactly 1 week ago today was the last anyone heard from them. 2 young parents and a kid.
Clayton Stolpa turned 5 months old yesterday. He is Kevin Mulligan's only grandchild. The Mulligans don't know if the family is snowbound, hurt, or kidnapped.
Hi. Any chance a week ago today?
So Kevin Mulligan keeps looking, poster in hand, hope in his heart. In Sacramento, Mark Jones, News Center 4.
Mark says the couple was driving a two-tone blue 1988 Dodge Dakota pickup truck, had Missouri license plates. If you saw it or have any information that might help find them, you're asked to call the Alameda County Sheriff's Department. Their number is 510 area code 667-7721.
Still ahead tonight, an ecological disaster in the making as a fully loaded oil tanker runs aground off Scotland.
And a child killer is hanged in Washington. We'll hear from the witnesses.
Now, 1-800-321-THIN. Once you change the head, the body's easy.
Early this morning, the state of Washington hanged Wesley Allen Dodd while pro and anti-death penalty activists clashed outside the prison.
I don't have to be from a little petty town like this. I'm from America.
In fact, police arrested 4 death penalty opponents for trespassing on prison property. Dodd was a habitual sex offender, executed for killing 3 little boys. He chose hanging over lethal injection. When the end came, demonstrators cheered what reporters and his victims' families were witnessing inside.
It happened very fast. The blinds were spread apart maybe a foot or two so that he could stand above us and speak down. And when he was finished, they closed the blinds, and the scene was backlit, so it was kind of eerie.
Several witnesses said hanging did not seem to them a less humane method than other death penalty methods. It was America's first hanging execution, though, in 28 years.
An oil tanker ran aground off the coast of Scotland today, threatening an environmental disaster worse than the Exxon Valdez. The tanker was driven onto rocks off the Shetland Islands by hurricane-like winds after its engines failed. The tanker is carrying 25 million gallons of oil. That's more than twice the amount aboard the Exxon Valdez. Some oil is already leaking, threatening the wildlife-rich area. Stormy weather is making it impossible to contain or clean up the spill at this time.
Since the rain has hit parts of the Bay Area already, let's see how it's affecting the homeward commute. Here's Joan Ravier. Joan?
Of course, Evan, it is affecting the commute. We've got some fairly serious problems. Another slow commute on eastbound Highway 4 over Willow Pass into Pittsburgh again today. Had a very slow commute yesterday. This time it's due to an accident on eastbound Highway 4 right near one split. Golden Gate Bridge, we have rainy conditions in Marin County and on the bridge itself, but so far, fairly problem-free commute for Marin County. Back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Joan.
There's a lot more ahead from the News Center. Up next, the congressional freshman class is sworn in, and we'll tell you why the Bay Area is now the most powerful political region in the country.
On Nightly News tonight at 5:30, the Clintons decide to send Chelsea to a private school despite their support for public education.
And on News Center 4 at 6, how a Bay Area liquor store has become the center of a violent controversy.
Millions of guys would love to be in their shoes, but these top male models say posing isn't all glitz and glamour. Hear why on the next ET.
Tonight at 6:30 on Channel 4.
Good news. There's even more water in the Sierra this year than electronic sensors have predicted. State crews clambered into the mountains on foot today to take the year's first water content measurement the old-fashioned way, by weighing it. There's 6 feet of snow, and today's news is that it is very wet. Water content is 180% of normal, nearly an all-time record for early January. That's 25 times what it was 2 years ago. It sounds very impressive, but water honchos are cautious, and are hoping that December won't be the only good month, and it looks like tonight it won't be.
Certainly does. Kind of tough here. We have another one already here.
We've been watching this storm for a couple of days now. What we usually look at, people always want to know, how do we know how much it's going to rain? How do we know if it's going to rain at all? We look at our little computers, and we look at all the numbers and the charts, and for a couple of days they weren't agreeing on amounts, but for the past 24 hours, it looks like this is going to be a pretty good soaker for the Bay Area, still calling for about an inch, even in San Francisco, but it's going to be a slow process. It will start gradually as light rain and then spread across most of the area, but the biggest problem may be across the Santa Cruz Mountains and places to the south where they'll probably have the most energy and the most precipitation. More on that in a moment. First, a check of current temperatures around the bay. Hasn't it been a rather raw, cold day for us? It's only 36 degrees in Concord, 37 in San Rafael, so a lot of areas barely making it out of the 30s today. And
Weather School, sponsored by San Francisco Federal. We're banking on your neighborhood.